my name is Cheryl Erickson, and I'm the Indigenous focused ECE instructor with Louis Riel Vocational College. Today in ECE Curriculum, we'll look at Chapter 8 and the environment. But before we get started, just a reminder to read Chapter 8, as this video isn't a replacement for your chapter reading. So often when we look at the environment, we do refer to it as the third teacher. Environments that are third teachers invite children to exercise their curiosity, explore, and discover, as well as collaborate connections with other children and adults in their natural environment. So if your program is set up and designed well, it will facilitate the learning of those young children, as well as not only the indoor environment, but your outdoor environment could also be a third teacher. When we look at the environment and space, in particular the physical space, one of the first considerations in designing the space is the purpose for the space. So we look at, in our environment, 7 different curriculum areas. What should be involved in the 7 different curriculum areas, and how many children are to participate in each area. So you want to have ample space for the children to explore the environment and build per se with the materials within each individual space. We do know that space does affect behavior, and if you want your physical space in that environment to act as a third teacher, it has to be appropriate for the children. And so if you are looking at a small space and you're putting large muscle equipment in there and it's for a large number of children, it's going to cause more behavior problems. So you want to look at that size of the space and look at realistically how many children should play within that space for it to be successful and positive. We also want to create spaces that allow for flexibility so that children may actively engage in that experimentation, in that exploration. You want to look at spaces that are for small groups of children, for large groups of children. So when I think of a space that's for a large group of children, I think of block play. Usually that large muscle type of play has a larger space than, say, the library area, which you want to promote kind of quiet and relaxation. So you want to have it for 8 children or 6 children, where a large muscle can be up to 10 children. So thinking about things like that allows not only for children to be successful in that play, allows them opportunities to move around, move equipment around, and to be successful within that learning environment. When you look again at space within your environment, you look at aesthetics and, how does that space or the setup of that space look to people that are coming into the environment. And that's really important for children as well. So we want to surround children with nice, beautiful things as well. They deserve that within their environment for so many different reasons. If it's neat, tidy, organized, and things go back in the same place all the time, children know exactly where to find things, and that's important. It's important when you're developing things like self-regulation as well. Will children be frustrated if they can't find toys and materials? If it looks messy and unorganized, is it going to distract them from their play? And that could be a factor as well. So children and adults are more engaged in activities and experiences when they're pleasant. So when it's organized, when it looks good, it feels good, it feels better, you're going to have a better experience. With that, you're going to have better interactions with the other children and staff within that environment. So again, messy and disorganized spaces can distract children from that play. Organization is fundamental, and it's a good learning opportunity for the children as well. As you originally set it up, but children are always going to take toys and materials off different shelves or from different areas, and to learn to put them back where they belong is very important, and that is important for consistency. You always know where things are. Children gain comfort in early learning programs when there's a sense of organization and space is pleasant. So again, not having that clutter of a lot of different materials in one area, because that can again be distracting. Looking for programs or looking at programs that examine different types of spaces. So you're going to have different types of spaces within your program. This is what I kind of expressed earlier, where your large muscle again is going to be a larger area, more materials for children to manipulate. It's a louder area where you want children to relax and have some quiet time. They're going to go to a library area, which is again that smaller area. Your daily arrangement for space, you should have a consistent daily schedule that offers a variety of different types of play experiences, from indoor play to outdoor play to structured times, story times, bathroom routines involved in that, as well as different meal times. So it is an important part for children to understand and learn about how routines work. That's how they develop a sense of time. And it also promotes opportunities for parents to interact with children and staff within that environment as well. Other environmental conditions that are important as well to children and how they may function within that environment. So things such as light, temperature, noise levels can all affect socialization and processing and comfort levels. So if you have an area or an environment that is very loud and very noisy, it could affect your attention, ability to your attention span, I guess, and your ability to concentrate on something. So you want to have a variety of areas where maybe they're louder to areas that are softer. Lighting can be a factor as well. Natural sunlight is the best type of lighting. Fluorescent lights can be a little bit harsh on the eyes. You can experiment with dimmers or not as many lights on, and that can sometimes help with the brightness of that. Sometimes it hurts your eyes or it can give you headaches when the light is too bright. As well as noise level too can also affect us as ECEs. So if it's a really noisy activity, ECEs may stay away from that area because it's too loud, and that's not promoting positive rapport, relationships, or helping or guiding children through different types of learning situations. So we really want ECEs to work together with the children to create and promote those positive environments in that respectfulness and play. And so we really need to think about how we design our environment, even the colors. If you're having bright colors within your environment, those colors can take away from the materials that are on the shelves as well. So we want to promote more natural earth tones within that environment for the children. Looking at your environments again, does your environments promote risk-taking? Because there should be some risk-taking involved in play. And so when I say risk-taking, that's not putting children at harm, but risk-taking more in the sense of exploring and problem solving. And so when we talk about, when we look at this slide, risk-taking can be play that's rough and tumble. So that kind of mat play where you put mats down and children are doing somersaults, or sometimes they get involved in a little bit of wrestling and things like that. So there's some risk taking involved, and they're learning about rules, and they're learning about socialization and what's okay and what's not, and there's some problem solving strategies going on with that. So there's learning opportunities that come with that as well. Risk taking can be play that's high speed, such as running, climbing, play using tools. So things like, I don't know if you're aware of this, but about 5 to 10 years ago, construction in daycares was very important, and we all had construction centers where kids used real tools and equipment, from hand saws to hammers and nails, and we promoted that type of play. We had rules and to ensure that children were safe. An adult always had to be present. Children had to wear safety goggles and hard hats. They used large pieces of wood, vices, and glue. So that could be an area as well. And lots of good learning came out of that practice as well. And play where children can go exploring on their own. And we would have some safety zones regarding that. In daycare environments, maybe it's corners of the playground where you could still see children, but it allows them to walk and be away, a little bit away from the adults, and play and explore the environment as well. So risk-taking environments are important. It allows children to really explore and learn on their own again, and we just need to set up some rules regarding the types of plays, because those rules are also important for children to understand what's right and what's wrong. Children do need to develop and need to learn the rules, those social rules. They're not always right. Sometimes they make mistakes, and that's okay. That's a learning process as well. And now, so when it comes to self-regulation in environments, those learning processes, whether they're learning that they've made a mistake, and we learn a lot from mistakes, and that's okay. That's part of that self-regulation and developing control over our emotions as well. And so for us as ECEs, we need to create those environments that support children's ability to develop those self-regulation skills, to master those concepts, to experiment, to experience some risk-taking and some problem-solving. So we need to promote that within the environment. And that can be things that are done just in daily interactions with other children and the materials and equipment they're manipulating within the environment. Each time a child experiences something new within their environment, they need to learn how to evaluate their feelings. And so it's really important for us to label and to allow children to express their feelings, as well as those sensory types of things, hearing, seeing, smelling, and comparing those experiences to previous experiences helps them learn again as well. So when an environment is not right for children, they may become anxious, feel overwhelmed, and feel discomfort. And we don't want them to have environments that produce those type of experiences, because they're not conducive environments to positive learning and to positive experiences. So self-regulation, I've said this, we've talked a lot about self-regulation, and I've said how important it is for them to develop control over those emotions, because it's really the problem-solving skills come once they start developing that those self-regulation skills. How our environment conditions can influence behavior. So you can see, the different types of behaviors that children do experience when that environment isn't working effectively. So children can feel apprehension, they can feel overwhelmed, they can feel some discomfort. Those are all emotions that we want to label. Again, going back to our pedagogy and our environment as ECEs, we always want to ensure that we are evaluating our environment. We always want to reflect back on things that we've seen throughout the day or throughout the week, and make some changes so that it is a positive environment for the children, that again they're learning and growing within that environment. So that does conclude Chapter 8 of Developing ECE Curriculum. Please do see your instructor if you have any questions regarding Chapter 8, or just check in to ensure you haven't missed any handouts or assignments pertaining to Chapter 8.